ultra-processed foods. Are we eating food or a science experiment? Have you ever had a Pop-Tart for breakfast, chips for lunch, a frozen pizza for dinner? You're probably not alone. And don't worry, this isn't a support group, it's a speech class. Researchers have recently found that nearly 60% of the calories consumed by adults in the United States contain ultra-processed foods. And for children, that number is even higher. That means that many of us are eating foods that contain ingredients our grandparents probably wouldn't be able to pronounce or even recognize. Today, I'm going to explain exactly what a processed food is and discuss the newest research that says how they affect our health and explore both the good and the bad sides of these convenient little foods. Let's start by asking the most important question. What exactly makes a food ultra-processed? According to the NOVA food classification system, these are foods that have undergone extensive industrial processing and often contain ingredients rarely found in a home or in kitchens. Think packaged pastries, soda, chips, hot dogs, sugary cereals, frozen dinners, instant noodles, and most fast food items. Now, before you panic, I'm not saying all of your favorite bags of Doritos are plotting against you, but scientists are beginning to ask serious questions. In a 2024 umbrella review published in the BMJ, they analyzed nearly 10 million participants across multiple countries. Researchers found that people who consumed the highest amounts of ultra-processed foods also had increased risks of cardiovascular disease, obesity, type 2 diabetes, even anxiety and depression, and premature death. They also found strong evidence that links these foods to overall poor health outcomes. Researchers believe this isn't just because these foods are high in salt, sugar, unhealthy fats, but ultra-processed foods are designed to be extremely tasty, easy to overeat, and contain certain additives like emulsifiers, artificial sweeteners, flavor enhancers, and most importantly, lots of preservatives. Scientists are now studying whether these ingredients also affect inflammation, gut health, even how our brains regulate hunger. Think about it this way. Have you ever sat down and polished off an entire bag of potato chips without even realizing it? Probably. Have you ever sat down and accidentally eaten an entire bag of broccoli? Unless it was covered in cheese, probably not. So this research sounds concerning, right? Why are all these ultra-processed foods still so popular? As it turns out, they actually do have some real benefits. Ultra-processed foods make modern life easier, but relying on them too heavily also comes with long-term health consequences. Let's be honest. Ultra-processed foods exist because they solve problems. They're inexpensive, they're convenient, and they last practically forever. After a long day, pressing 2 buttons on the microwave sounds a lot more appealing than coming home and starting a chicken dinner for your family from scratch. For busy parents, college students, shift workers, and people living in food deserts, these foods can be practical and most importantly, they're affordable. That's one reason experts don't recommend eliminating them entirely. However, newer research suggests that moderation is key. A randomized controlled trial published in Nature Medicine in 2025 compared people eating minimally processed foods with people eating ultra-processed foods. Both actually met the National Dietary Guidelines. Even when the nutrients were similar, participants eating the minimally processed foods had significant lower instances of health issues, consumed fewer calories, experienced fewer cravings, and lost about twice as much weight. Another study in 2024, also published in the BMJ, found that the higher consumption of certain ultra-processed foods, in particularly processed meats and ready-to-eat meat products like lunch meats, pepperonis, etc., also had a higher cause of all-cause mortality. Interestingly, the research also noted that not every ultra-processed food came with the same level of risk, reminding us that, like most things, nutrition is rarely black and white. That's probably one of the biggest takeaways from this research. Ultra-processed foods aren't poison, but they're also not a health food. Like many things in life, including caffeine, social media, binge watching Netflix, they're probably best enjoyed in moderation. So today we discussed what an ultra-processed food actually is, explored some of the newest scientific research surrounding them, and looked at both the advantages and the disadvantages of relying on them. The next time you're grocery shopping and you pick up a snack that has an ingredient list longer than maybe your last Amazon receipt, take a second to think about what's actually in it. That doesn't mean that you need to throw away the Oreos and get rid of all the frozen pizzas, that you can't ever have to have a chip again. Life is way too short for that. But maybe adding in an apple with your chips, or cooking dinner from home one extra time a week than you usually would, or just simply paying more attention to what ends up on your plate, will make the difference over time. After all, food should be fuel for us. It shouldn't leave us wondering whether we just ate lunch or completed a chemistry experiment.